Ready?
Ready.
Wavehouse, a concept with major impact on the beach of Magaluf. Teleweb presents the man behind the concept, Mr. Wavehouse himself, president of the company, Thomas Lochtefeld. You have already 10 locations all over the world. This is the first one in Europe, so Mallorca has to be something special.
No, exactly. Because the reason why Mallorca is so good is it's kind of like this vacation hub, and people from all over Europe fly here. Well, it's one of the busiest, airports during the season. So to that point, this is like the perfect location for this concept because it gets it out throughout Europe. So on my other hat, which is the manufacturing where I sell the Wave, this way it's a perfect vehicle to market. But at the same time, it's this. Who wouldn't want to come here?
You also invented the artificial wave. Why?
Well, I love to surf, so for me it was just a fulfillment of a kind of a dream. Because when I started my first businesses, one of those was in water parks, and I developed the first kind of like when I rode those wave pools back then, they were just bumpy up and down, but they didn't really give you the experience of surfing. So what I wanted to do was create a mechanism to allow the person to drop down, carve a turn, feel what a surfer feels like. So here it is. 1991 was when I first, but it took 3 years to develop. So I have a lot of testing and prototypes, and I had to kind of create the whole engineering because no one really shoots water uphill, in an open setting. So it was interesting. All the professors loved it, because it's something different. On the one hand, beach culture, because of the nature of the beach, the differences are in the formality. In Europe here, I find beach culture is more formal. And the style is a little more important. And like in Southern California, no, it's just you want to have. You don't want to be kind of that pretentious, over the top type of style. But that's each country is different. In Singapore, it's more this style. So it's interesting how it evolved. I was kind of amazed, but I go with the flow. I don't worry about it.
Is it like exporting the Californian way of life?
Definitely, especially for the youth. That to them is what they buy, and they're more into the action and the activity. So, and they love the kind of the California laid-back scene. But that's just really a function of when you're dealing in the ocean and you deal with those type of dynamics and forces. You can't fight it. You got to go with it. So you don't, it goes with the territory.
Tom, your surname sounds very German. Are there any German grandparents?
Actually, my great-great-grandfather came over on the Lusitania. He was a coal tender, and so he hopped off in the U.S., went to Ohio, and he was a farmer, so he farmed, and then during the war, my parents came out to San Diego, and that's where it got started, and they stayed there, and that's where I was born.
What impact do you think that this will have not only on the beach of Magaluf, but on the whole Mallorca island?
I think it'll be huge, and the reason is a couple. One, first from a sporting perspective, because I have a number of flow riders. The flow rider is the smaller one we're looking at now. Those I have throughout Europe, there'll be a lot more, and then the big wave, that one is kind of the
sporty one.
Yeah, the big showpiece, and that's where the athletes and the one gentleman who was riding, he was from Billabong, and he surfs all in the Mundaka and all the places. So with that type of activity, you get a lot of word of mouth, and so it'll bring all the sporting people. And then on top of that, we do the music and the concerts. So we combine those two elements, the sound and the music, and with the sport in a hotel environment on the beach. It brings all the beautiful people. Perfect.
Have you seen already something from the island? Visited places?
Oh, I love Mallorca. It's spectacular. The weather, the people. It's real interesting, environment. I love the old culture, with the Spanish colonial and the integration with the beach lifestyle. No, it's fantastic.
Thanks a lot for your time. Good luck.
Perfect. Thank you very much.